Hello everyone, welcome back to Scrape Metal and Roll. This is episode 6 of the Limited Adhesion podcast, talking about all of the action from TCR at Donington and also the USF 2000 racing at Road America. With me this time, I've got two of the drivers who were in action and a commentator, so this should be an interesting one. First of all then, as I say, he is a commentator for our USF 2000 and our Prototypes League from this season. So welcome to Mark Innis. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, Gareth. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It's nice to have been let out of the commentary booth for once.
Escaping Steve's pants, yeah.
yeah, good to be here.
Good stuff, yeah. And next up then, he is one of the wizards, although he is cunningly disguised as the wizards of fossil fuels. It's Charlie Langridge. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm good, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks, man. Yeah, very nice to have you on the podcast. And finally, he's one of the Minardi team and has been in action across, I think, all of the series, haven't you, this season? It's Philipp Mars. How you doing, Philipp?
Hi, Gareth. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Yeah, so am I all right? Have you done Prototypes as well? I know I've seen you on the grid for Prime and for TCR and USF.
I did the first race on Long Beach, but I haven't done much practice beforehand on that car, so it didn't went well. And so I also didn't bother to keep going with this car for now.
Even the people who practiced didn't do very well. It was a bit of a carnage race, so as Mark knows from calling all the action. So, well, let's start with you, Mark, then, because you've been in the league for the longest time. How did you get involved with us?
So I've always been interested in racing from a very young age, probably from like 5 or 6 or so when I first got a PlayStation or whatever it was. But it's always only ever been with a controller and offline, just against the computer. And then, when lockdown hit, I was furloughed, as a lot of people were, and I found myself with a lot of free time on my hands, and I decided to sort of do it a little bit more seriously. So I got it was a Logitech G29, I got a gaming PC, got the works, and I started off, I did a couple of months on Assetto Corsa, and then very quickly went to iRacing. And it was through a Reddit post that I saw advertising the Limit of Adhesion, and I thought, that sounds good, because as nice as it is to race with random people on the internet, it's always a bit nicer to race with people that you actually see every week or so and race with and get to know what they're like. And so, I think I signed up, I think my first race was at Bathurst in the GT3s. I think it was season 4 or so.
Yeah, baptism of fire, that, and the Bathurst.
Yeah. And of course, being so new to iRacing, I didn't really have a clue what I was doing in terms of track conditions and that sort of thing. So I was sort of lapping about 10 seconds or so off the pace, getting sort of self-esteem just plummeting as I was watching all these quick guys going around, until I realised that actually I was practising in like 60-degree track temps and everyone else was on like 20 degrees. So I got into the race expecting it to be a literal car crash. And it wasn't too bad. I think I got just outside the top 10, which my first ever race with the Limit of Adhesion. And one of my first GT3, I think it was my first ever GT3 race in iRacing. I thought it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
And a pair of championships after that, then you claimed 2 Club 1500 championships, am I right?
I did indeed. So I got my GT3 championship, I think the following year, Club 1500 championship, and then I tried to defend my title in the GT3s while simultaneously going for the Formula 3 title, and I got the Formula 3 and missed out on the GT3, unfortunately. But and then
Dobby.
Yes, because of Dobby. And then some rather annoying admin said that I was too quick for Club 1500 and booted me up to top split.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who that was. And obviously you were doing some Twitch streaming, which is why I asked you to do some commentary. So you've been doing USF for this is your 3rd season now, commentating USF with Steve Pepper, and now doing Prototypes as well. So Yeah, you enjoy. Well, I think you obviously are enjoying it because we can hear the joy in the voice every week. So
I mean, let's be honest. You're asking me to sit down for an hour or so every week, watch some brilliant racing, and just waffle on about nothing in particular. I mean, that who wouldn't love that?
yeah, and so I find it really fun and easy to do, but yeah, other people not so much. So. But anyway, yeah, your efforts are greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for that. Let's move on to yourself then, Charlie. You were racing in TCR season 1 for the first half of the season, sort of disappeared for a while. So very nice to have you back in the league. Tell us about your sim racing. I want to say journey, but it just feels so cliched. But tell us about your journey.
Okay. I mean, I started at a very young age. I mean, we're going back to PlayStation 1 when I started enjoying like racing games. But I think for me, it started properly on F1 2020. Believe it or not, with Malarian and Sam. Ended up getting a G920 on sale and was racing the league on there. And then I think it was Chur that introduced me to LOA. And he was like, try iRacing. So he let me use his account, gave it a try. Difficult at first, but kind of really got into it. And then obviously he always knew I didn't like open wheelers. So F1 I wasn't a massive fan of, but I did it to play games with friends. And when he said about TCRs, I was like, that's more my style. And then I've loved it ever since. Unfortunately, in real life, had a change of job and didn't have enough time. So I've made some time now and I'm back.
Well, we're very, very happy to have you back then. Yeah, it's really, really nice to have you back in the league. Have you updated your gear since the old G920?
The only thing that's updated is the pedals. And I'll be honest, all I know is they're Fanatec. I couldn't tell you anything else.
That's fair enough.
I know it's a load cell. That's all.
Yeah, probably the same as mine then. Yeah, sort of just the big black rectangles.
Yes, that's all they look like.
Yeah.
I know it's strapped down with a belt. I know that much.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have used bolts on mine, so
mine's a mock job.
Yeah. What's the story with the paint this season then? Because as I say, you are actually racing for the Wizards, but you wouldn't know it with the Castrol livery. And I'm definitely a fan of the Castrol livery. I do rock it, and I don't have my own paint made up on iRacing. So yeah, but what's the story?
Do you know what? I just said to Chur when he said about teaming up again. I just said, have you got a livery? And he was like, we have, but if you want another one, feel free. So I was looking around trying to find a livery because obviously mine's a Hyundai, his is the Audi, and I come across this Castrol one and I loved it. And he was like, I like that. Let's go for this. So it has no relevance to our name, as you say, but it looks good.
Oh, it really does. Yeah, actually, I mean, it's funny actually because when you watch the racing and the videos, it always looks like there's more than two of you because you stand out so much and you just appear everywhere.
Yeah, I probably am just shooting around corners as well.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Yeah, been in the thick of the action definitely this season.
Yeah.
Well, let's come on to yourself, Philip. Then, a member of the Minardi stable, as I said. Tell us a little bit about your racing and how you got into the league.
I mean, the way how I got into the league, it's obviously because of Kensho and Ben. They were already here a season prior to me, so I had to follow them.
Yeah.
and considering that I originally played Circuit Superstars with them, and when I joined the team, they were pretty much retiring already, so I didn't want to play alone. So that's why I got into iRacing, which I would have never imagined. But I do like it, I have to say.
It's a lot of fun. So you're quite a new convert to iRacing then?
Yes. I think I started April or May. I'm not quite sure. And I don't know when the last season started, the Prime on, what was it, Brands Hatch?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my third overall race in a non-rookie car.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I just want to make sure to get my safety rating above rookie before doing a league race, so it doesn't look so bad.
Well, I mean, bearing in mind, like, last time I talked to Sam, and he and Tour had done a couple of MX5 races before they bounced into the league in GT3. So it's following in fine footsteps there. So, and another person who's rocking a pretty striking livery, Jules said in commentary that is his favourite livery on the grid at the moment, the pink Simpsons one.
Yeah, I was just searching. I mean, I drove the TCR last season's officials, and I was just like searching for a livery that I liked, and when I saw it, I need to get that one. It looks so fun.
It surely does, yeah. And what's your so you've driven a fair few cars now with us and probably outside the league as well. What are your favourites? What are the cars you're gravitating towards when you get a choice?
I would say I prefer open wheelers over non-open wheelers. I also like the GT3s, and yeah, I mean I'm quite open for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that I drove a car that I don't like. Maybe the Clio when I did the test drive on the offline server, that was not my choice. And also the F1, I did a couple of laps, and well, I guess I need to do some more practice on not so fast cars first.
Oh, I mean F1 is a different level, isn't it? It just feels so intense and full on, and just trying to get it around a lap is quite a challenge. Mark, have you done any F1 on iRacing?
Not really on iRacing. I've done a bit in the Super Formula, but yeah, I think Formula One is just, I can't think that quickly.
Yeah. It's the belief that it's going to stick in the corners as well. It just takes your breath away, and as you say, it just makes everything happen so damn fast. So yes, I don't think anyone should feel bad about finding F1 a challenge. Certainly not. So let's move on then and talk about the action, because we had some cracking racing at Donington Park in the TCR. Charlie, you and I had we were on track a fair bit together. You got taken off at Starkey's Bridge in race one. I can't remember who was it. Damon who got you?
Yeah, Damon. We touched side by side, and it just sent me, well, sideways really. Just couldn't control it. Ended up coming back on track last.
You did well. You were straight back up to 11 from behind me, reeling me in towards the end of the race. So I felt counted myself lucky to finish ahead of you.
Yeah, from what I can remember, there was a massive crash, and all I remember is a car flying in the air. And I just did my best to avoid it, and I overtook quite a few people.
Great result then. You did well, yeah. And then race two, yourself and me and John Cook, that was just such an exciting battle towards the end of the race. What was it? Talk about it from your side and your view.
Scary. Do you know what? I went into that race with 2 laps of practice. So for me, I was still learning the track in race 1.
Mm-hmm.
But race 2, I don't know what happened. I just found pace out of nowhere. And yeah, I was trying to get past John, but he was making it very difficult. And then obviously yourself behind me, if I attacked him, I knew you was going to attack me back if I made a mistake. So it was pressure.
It was, yeah. In fact, I'm just looking on the results there, and so our average lap across the race: 1:39.801 for you, 1:39.838 for John, and 1:39.874 for me. And then in terms of fastest lap, 37.895 for you, 000 for John, which is just so precise, and 37.841 for me. So all incredibly close, and separated by 7/10 across the end of the race. I mean, that's just amazing stuff after 15 minutes of very intense driving. So an amazing battle. Philip, let's turn to your race then. How was it for your side? Were you involved in a couple? There were a couple of big crashes, as Charlie alluded to. Were you involved in those?
I was involved in a crash in race 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the lap 1 after the chicane.
Yeah, that was a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to get in the pits because of that. And I think I had no incident in race 1. I had a terrible start. I lost like 5 or 6 spots, but I got points in the end, so I'm happy with that.
Good stuff, yeah. And which car? You're in the Audi, so that's it's unusual to have a bad start in the Audi because it's supposed to be without having a clutch, it goes off the line pretty well.
Yeah, I was. My tires were like.
Oh, you spun them up?
Yes, I spun up it and they completely lost control. And when I hit third gear, they were still spinning, and it's like I lost so much time because of that.
I've just remembered. Yes, I dived to your left to go round you because I was catching up on you, and then poor old Kenneth, your stablemate, went up the back of me because I just suddenly pulled into his path because I was trying to avoid you. So, yeah, it was just he must have had an amazing start. Yeah, I must go back and watch how he got off the line because he came off like a missile. Yeah, he was unfortunate to meet my car halfway down the track. So it was so. Looking at the race result, it was David Ward who picked up the victory ahead of your teammate, Joel Malarin, Charlie. So, he got P2 and Don Parker in P3. Then briefly we had Alex Murphy in 4th, Russell Bright, my teammate, in 5th. Then John, Ollie Ettridge, Damon Mitchell, myself, yourself, Charlie, and James Renwick in 11th, Kenneth 12th. Chris Forrester, then yourself, Philip, picking up 2 points, and James Pepper picking up the final point. And then in the feature race, Damon Mitchell picking up the win ahead of Russell and Tor in 3rd. So a double podium for Tor, and he picked up the most points of the race meeting. Alex in 4th, then yourself, Charlie, John, and myself. And Philip, you came, where are you? There you are, 18th place. So, after that incident and the visit to the pits, not bad to fight back and gain a few more places back. But, sadly not in the points. Mark, how come you're not racing TCR this season?
I'm not a big fan of the tin tops, to be honest.
Reasonable.
Yeah, I started off racing in the Mazda MX-5, like pretty much everyone, moved to the GT3s, and stayed that way for a long time. And then as soon as I went into the F3, it was just like sort of a light switch moment, and I was like, I absolutely love this. So I definitely prefer cars with quite a bit of downforce.
Yeah, I think we converted you, didn't we? Cause,
you definitely did, yeah.
It was I think the first time I actually raced you was the MX-5 silly season race at Bathurst when we did the jump. And if you guys haven't seen the jump, do go and take a look on our YouTube channel. There's a rather silly little couple of minute video that Jules has put together of the MX-5s over classical music doing the jump at Bathurst. It's a rather great little bit of film. Well worth checking out. Yeah. Well, taking a look at the championship then from I was tempted to get Charlie to try and sell you on TCR.
I'll do my best, but
well,
try.
Go on then. Say why do you think TCR is great?
Do you know what? Because they're front wheel drive, they make it a lot different to driving a GT3, even the MX-5s. You have to try it. And how can I put it? With the MX-5s, as an example, you can pretty much floor it around any bend. It's not really going to oversteer unless it's a sharp turn. The TTRs are a lot different. If you just floor it, you're understeering off that course. So, Mark, give it a try.
Very nice sales pitch.
I think what I took from that is that to be decent in the TCRs, you need to have talent, which might be a bit of an issue for me.
Hey, I don't either. Don't worry.
I like it. I've surprised myself how much I am enjoying it. But I will go back to the Damon Mitchell tips from episode 2. They have really helped me unlock a lot of pace this season. So yeah, I mean, I felt to be battling yourself, Charlie, and John at Donington was felt like a massive step forward in my personal pace. So yeah, I think they do work as tips. Let's take a look at the championship then. It's Tour on top at the moment from Damon Mitchell and Stephen Greening, who are both tied on points. Then we've got Dom and Alex. Russell's in 6th. Looking a bit further down, John Cook jumping out of me in 8th. Charlie, you're in 14th for the moment after a few... You had a penalty, didn't you, one of the rounds?
Yeah, pit lane start due to taking, I think it was Russell out at Knock Hill.
Right.
Totally missed my breaking point on that one. And just took him straight off the course, I'll be honest.
I know. I remember the incident, actually, yeah.
Yeah, let's not remember it.
Fair enough.
It was a bad time. But I'd done my penalty. And what can I say? It's affected me a bit on the results.
Well, that's okay. You know, it's like this season is getting back into it and regrouping, and then you're good to go for title assault in season 3. That's the way I look at it. So yeah. And Philipp, a bit further down the order at the moment in P32. But yeah, definitely. Are you enjoying the season so far? Looking forward to the rest of it in TCR?
Well, I personally don't know how much time I can spend into practice for this car. I mean, I like other cars more, to be fair. But I will try to get the point here and there, so...
Yeah. I mean, it will be easier next season when we go to the 1 car per week and only doing 3 championships. So we've only got 3 different cars to worry about each season. I think that from personal, it will suit me a lot better than the current sort of 2 championships per night schedule. So I have a feeling that it might suit you too. So that'll be something to look forward to. Let's move on then to the USF 2000 race at Road America, where we had a very controversial incident in race 2. We had a full course pace car come out, and it's something that we didn't even know was actually possible in road courses. But yeah, the safety car came out and was out for like a good half of the race or more. Due to a lot of accidents on lap 1 of race 2, which is, yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever come across a full pace car in a road race. Mark?
I've definitely not come across, well, certainly not an unintentional one. I've done a couple of sort of hosted races where the admins have manually called a safety car. But yeah, I've never seen one automatically called, and that includes even in AI races. Even if you sort of tick the button, I've never seen it automatically spawn. So yeah, that's definitely a very weird...
a new one, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Charlie, Philipp, have you guys ever seen that?
What's that again, sir?
Have you ever seen a automatic pace car come out on a road course before?
I can't say I have, I'll be honest.
No.
Can't say that.
Philipp, talk about it. Tell us about it from your perspective, because you were in the race. What was happening in your race when the safety car came out?
Well, I was going into turn 6. I was currently P2 behind Rich Meesters, who won that race. And I was just too quick. I spun around, was on the side, and when I tried to go back onto the track, I spun again, and all of a sudden there was a yellow flag. Well, I was surprised, but on the other side, I was like, hey, I can maybe get back into this. So I wasn't too unhappy with it. So yeah, Also, when there was the restart and the pile up in turn 5, I gained like 5 or 6 places because of that. Because everyone was like going on the outside, and I was the only car being on the inside. So
very nice.
It wasn't planned.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot more of an interesting race for you than from my side, where I had a good start in race 1, and Gavin and Alex Murphy both ran wide through the kink, which is the corner after the carousel, and I went past Gavin, and then on the Canada corner I went to the outside of Alex, and he locked up sadly and put me in the barriers. And then there was a secondary accident. It's a bit hard to say because Chris tripped over Ross, but he thinks Ross might have been braking extra because of my car rejoining on the track, so we had to wait and see what the stewards say on that one. Recording before the stewards have passed judgment, so that one's still with them. And then I just put it in the wall because I was so frustrated after that. So a bit of a frustrating one. And then race 2, I got caught in the incident in, was it turn 4, the left-hander, and then limping around the damaged car until the safety car. But what was weird is that I went in the pits and got my quick repair during the safety car when the pit lane opened, and then it said I had to wait for car 52, which is Zhao, who was a minute or more behind me. So I ended up stopping at the final corner when everyone went green and started racing again. And when it went green, it just suddenly went, oh no, go, you don't have to worry about it, waiting for him anymore. And I was just so frustrated again. I crashed again. So a bit of an annoying evening of USF for me, which is twice actually. Both the American rounds have gone really badly. So I must admit I'm not doing too well at transitioning from a TCR into the USF, and I find that real strange mix of cars. So taking a look at the race results then, so it was Stephen Maxwell picking up the victory in the first race ahead of Alex Murphy, and then Ollie Ettridge rounding out the podium, then Gavin Kelly, yourself Philipp, great result as you say in P5, then your stablemate Ben in 6th, Rich Meesters, Kenneth, a great result for the Minardi team, 3 of you up there in the top 10, Steve Pfeffer and Steve Ange rounding out the top 10, and then looking at the feature, Rich Meesters picking up his first overall LOA victory ahead of Gavin and Tor on the podium. So 3 podiums for Tor over the evening. Great results for him. Mark, what's your... You've been watching and commentating on Rich racing for a long time. Tell us your feedback and your thoughts on him finally getting the overall win.
I think it's definitely very well deserved. I mean, Rich has come on leaps and bounds in the past few months or so. So I remember he's always been sort of hovering around that sort of 1.3k I rating sort of era. And I'm actually doing the Daytona 24 hour with him in a month or so. And sort of just looking at planning the team out, and I looked, and he's jumped up to sort of 1.7, 1.8k, and
wow.
He's made such an improvement in the last few months, and I don't know what's changed. I don't know what he's doing differently, but it's working. So I've raced him a few times on tracks fairly recently, and he's absolutely rapid now. He's made such an improvement over the last few months. It's fantastic to see. So, very well deserved victory.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, and especially in LMP3, he's looking very rapid in that. He's looking rapid in the USF, and he's looking good in Prime. And he's getting there in the TCR as well, thinking about it. He's doing, like you say, something has unlocked in Mr. Meesters, and he is starting to reap the rewards. So, really pleased for him. Charlie, you haven't quite made the top step overall yet, have you? But I feel fairly confident that's coming quite soon. What are your thoughts?
Do you know what? I need to just knuckle down and do more practice. I've practiced for all the other ones apart from Donington.
Mm-hmm.
Although Donington I've done the best, to be honest. But I I need to practice. If I don't practice, I go in blind, and it doesn't go well for me.
Is there much tips exchange going back and forth between the two of you and Tor?
Yeah. To be honest, there is. Well, we try to arrange it where we watch each other race, get tips on how each other are taking corners or stuff like that, what gear he could be in. But it does make it a bit more difficult with him being in the Audi and myself in the Hyundai.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was in the Hyundai before, so maybe he's done the, oh, that's the quick car of the season and jumped the ship because of that.
I'll be honest, it's unreal how does Audi's launch compared to any other car.
Yes, even in season 1 they were always crazy quick off the line. So yeah, and Philipp, what's it like being in the Minardi stable? How much team tips and chat goes on behind the scenes?
Yeah, well, actually, when there's a race evening, we normally group up in Discord, have a chat, and see what's going on. Sometimes we do a little bit of practicing or just share some information. Yeah, bantering around.
Right. Okay, cool. Anyway, guys, then, well, let's just take a quick look at the USF 2000 Championship to wrap up. Then it's with me get number 1. Here we go. So it's Alex Murphy who's still on top of the championship, ahead of your stablemate Ben in second. So he's dropped down 1 place from last week, but still doing such a good job this season. Ollie Ettridge in third, Steve Maxwell in fourth, and then we've got Gavin Kelly. Tom Larin down in sixth. Mark, you must be feeling quite like, what's going on with Tor being that far down? But I don't think he's been putting as much effort in this season, has he?
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely the class of the field in the first couple of seasons. I think season 2, when Alex Murphy joined, we definitely saw that, oh, here's someone who might actually be able to take the fight to Chur, but unfortunately I think real life commitments got a bit in the way of Alex's title fight for season 2, but yeah, season 3, not quite sure what's happened to Chur, but Alex is certainly taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, and although he's got his work cut out though with drivers like Stephen Greening, Ollie Ettridge putting in a full season now, and Stephen Maxwell coming across to the championship as well. So, and the class of the field goes up and up, and we've got Chase Small and Tom Minot joining. I've raced Tom a few times in the publics, and he is very quick. So, yeah, the class of the field goes up and up every season. Michael Messenger's quite far down, but then he's I think he's focusing more on Prime. So yeah, the field is great and very challenging, and I think that just makes the LOA ever stronger. So looking ahead then to the next rounds of USF 2000 and TCR. TCR's going off to Austria for the first non-UK race. We're going to the Red Bull Ring. That should be really interesting with TCR, shouldn't it, Charlie? What do you reckon with the rotation? Because those corners are quite quick.
Do you know what? I've never raced on the Red Bull Ring.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even own the track, funny enough.
So a little Christmas present to yourself then?
Oh, it might have to be. Unless Chur wants to treat me.
Yeah. Well, you better get your request in quick, because obviously this will be coming out after Christmas itself. So, yeah. And Philipp, you looking forward to the Red Bull Ring?
Yeah, sure. It's my home track, so I'm trying to get some good results in for the fans.
Nice one. Have you been in person before?
Yeah, once when I was a kid, I was watching an F1 race. I think it was 2001.
Oh, very nice.
And then it kind of fall out of the calendar because of the whole track wasn't up to date anymore or whatever. And when it got reopened again under Red Bull, I was never been able to be in there. But yeah, as a kid, I really enjoyed the time there. I wasn't even sitting in the stands. I was standing in front row at the fence, watching the cars and hoping for Schumacher to win, which unfortunately he didn't. But it was a really, really great experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's one of the tracks that I always wanted to go to. I mean, I've sort of dropped off watching F1 the last couple of seasons, but yeah, it's just a beautiful track and a lovely part of the world. So yeah, definitely somewhere I'd like to go and visit and watch a race of some description. And we've got the Red Bull Ring for USF as well then before we go to Gateway for the second oval race of the season in round 6. Well, that's going to wrap up episode 6 of the Scrape Metal and Roll podcast. I want to say a massive thank you to Mark Innis, to Charlie Langridge and to Philipp Miles for joining me. And hope everyone has enjoyed the Christmas period and New Year by the time this comes out. And look forward to seeing you all on track once again in 2024. And so say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
Bye.
Fantastic. Excellent. Right, see you later, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.